So, and finally, to go over some various functions, to change the set of options at the bottom, we're just going to hit the home icon. We have various options down here, such as silence, which can silence any alarms that are currently going off, as indicated by the silence icon. You can also trigger a manual record by hitting that. There's no paper loaded in there currently, so it's not going to do that. You can then go down to review to review NIBP, alarms, trend graphs, tables, and waveform recalls. You can freeze the waveforms. Auto measure, which you can choose to set the interval of NIBP readings. We're just going to set this back to manual because I don't have it connected to anything right now. And NIBP, which manually triggers NIBP readings. You go to main, you can enter the main menu where you can edit the patient information, such as bed number. I'm just going to set it back to 15. And you have to set this after you hit new patient, because when you hit new patient, it's just going to reset everything. Remember to hit new patient to clear the previous patient data out. So you can go into alarm setup. Whoops. Go into alarm setup. You can choose to set alarm parameters for various functions. Go to review, same as the button down below. You can go to setup interface, and you can choose between standard, dynamic trend, Oxy CRG, and big numerics. There is a button that's specifically for that below. We'll get to that in just a second. You can choose the alarm silencing time and alarm recording time. You can also edit the time and date from here as well. The volume for beat, pulse rate, key, and alarms, as well as choose custom colors for the various parameters. For instance, EKG is currently green. If I wanted to change that, I'll go to color custom. It says ECG waveform is green. I'm just going to change that right now to red. Then we'll hit the X, and ECG becomes red now. You can also choose recorder setup. Event setup, not really sure what that does. Measurement setup, which is the same options as actually clicking in the info boxes here. Then you can perform drug calculation. There's also a button at the bottom. We'll get to that. Then the maintenance menus. These, I do not suggest the end user go playing with these options, as it could potentially hinder the operation of the machine. Now, color custom will basically allow you to change the colors of the waveforms as we just did. You can go to status, which can show you the power on and shutdown events. About, which just provides you the IP address of the monitor as well as the software version. Default, which will reset everything to factory settings. And demo mode, which if you have the password, you can make it show completely simulated vital signs. But that's really not used in a clinical setting. Now also you have touch calibration, which allows you to calibrate the touch screen. So actually I'm going to do that. So now you are going to tap the white box. When it turns red, you will go to the next box. Click on the middle icon when it's finished, and the touchscreen will be recalibrated. Yeah, much better now. So down here you'll have alarm setup where you can choose various alarm parameters. Volume, which you can set the volume. Now you've seen these in the main menu, but these are quicker shortcuts. You can set brightness. Right now it's set to 15, but we're going to set this to 20. Then there's a standby mode. Now in standby mode, it will stop recording vital signs. You can just hit anything to exit out. So we'll hit home to go to the next page. You may have to calibrate this a few times. I'm actually just going to use the scroll wheel and button just to make everything easier. So then you can go to drug calculation. You know what? I actually have to run the touchscreen calibration again. Trying to do this with a phone in my hand. It's not easy. There we go, much better. Okay, so we can go to drug calculation. You just choose the drug. You have some to choose from. And the dose, concentrations, etc. And once all the information is filled in, it can give you a titration chart and more information about that. Trend table. Show you the time, if there's an event triggered, and if it'll give you the heart rate, any PVCs, and all the other information, whatever event happens. A trend graph where you can choose between various parameters and view historical data. You have the NIBP review, which will give you a record of the NIBP results for the current patient. Waveform recall, which will allow you to recall various waveforms in the current patient history. And patient information, which, like tapping up above, which will allow you to set the bed number, the sex of the patient, patient type, and pacemaker. When you hit new patient, it clears out all the records and resets the bed number as well.